Hey everybody, it's Joe, and I'm here to try another couple of unboxings. Once again, Bambox was doing an amazing special where you could get like a bunch of leftover boxes from prior years. So again, I bought two. I figured I'd do two because I noticed last time there were some duplicates when I bought more than one. So I read a lot about pop culture. I write a lot about pop culture. And so I've been challenged to see how much pop culture I know about what's in these boxes. I've been stumped a few times. I think the problem with this is I'm not going to actually be able to tell if I'm right, because if this is like the other boxes, then there won't be an explanation of what's in them. So you'll have to tell me whether I'm right in the comments. Let's do the little one first. So I will take this little box. I will zoom in a bit. And let's open her up. So first of all, very disappointing. There is no BAM paper in it. It's just regular paper. But there is, oh, look at that. I see a duplicate already. So this is, if you watch my unboxings, I'll get the bag open. You will see that this is already the ball from Phantasm. It's called the Sentinel. I talked about it in a prior one. I won't go in as much detail as that. It's the Phantasm's the movie starring Angus Scrim. It's a really great horror movie. What can I tell you about this that I haven't mentioned before? I guess the way that they shot this, because you know it was a B movie, was they actually had a baseball thrower, pitcher, throw it as hard as he could. And then they shot it in backwards. They showed the film backwards. They reversed the film. Same thing when it goes into I think his name's the caretaker's head, and then it comes out. What they did was it started in his head, and then they yanked it, and then they filmed it in reverse. So that's the Sentinel from Phantasm. It's also called the Sphere Ball. Phantasm has quite a following. Oh, I got something else. So in the Star Wars, the new Star Wars trilogy, Captain Phasma actually is a bit of a tribute to the movie Phantasm. So that's interesting. So that's something I didn't mention before. This is, oh, look at that. I'm stumped already. I don't know what that is. Big Trouble Little China, maybe? Jack Burton. I don't think it's Big Trouble in Little China because it doesn't look Chinese enough. I have no idea whatsoever what this is. All right, take a look at it. Let me know if anybody knows what it is. I'm not even gonna hazard a guess because I have no idea. All right, stumped. Oh my God, the second item. How embarrassing. All right, let's see. Oh, well, here's how cheat. This is what I got stumped on last time, but it's a duplicate. This is for, what's the name of that special? Like, it's called Stories We Tell in the Dark. It's the Scarecrow. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Scary Stories We Tell in the Dark. I still haven't seen it, but this time I know what it is. So there you go. Oh, that's funny. I was going to say that was the Slender Man, but I recognize that. That is the Wicker Man. The Wicker Man was a movie made twice. The first time, it starred Christopher Lee, famous for Dracula and Lord of the Rings, and he was also in Star Wars. He was Count Dooku. And it also had Britt Eklund in it, who was the Bond girl and the Man with the Golden Gun. And she also was like in every 70s show there was, including she played the teacher in Fame, almost unrecognizable. I'm trying to remember her name. Oh, she was the English teacher in Fame, so that's who that was at an older age. She's also on Murder, She Wrote. The Wicker Man was then remade later, and with Nicolas Cage in the role of Christopher Lee. The movie was apparently laughable, and so laughable that the original writer and director of the first one refused to see it. And he actually had asked to have his name taken off. He was so embarrassed by it. All right, I think that's what I got for that. That's enough on that. Well, I would not have known what this is, except recently, Anne Rice died, passed. She was a very famous, well-respected author who wrote the not the Vampire Diaries, sorry, oh, wrong book. Interview with the Vampire and the Vampire Lestat. And this is from Queen of the Damned, and I only recognize it because I just was looking at something about it. So this was a movie, it was the unofficial sequel to Interview with the Vampire, the movie. It starred, it was called Queen of the Damned, and it starred Aaliyah, but she died in a plane crash halfway through, so they didn't film it. And this is, I believe this is her hairpin, is what I think this is. I saw it because I don't even know how it was an accident. I found it because I was reading something about Anne Rice, and somebody tried to sell me it. That's how I know what it is. So yay, marketing. Oh, I apparently got a free drop. I don't know what it was. This is another one I got wrong in the past, but now I know what it is. This is a card, and it's Pet Sematary, and it's Gage from Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary, the original stars Fred Gwynne, who played Herman Munster in The Munsters, and then it was remade, and I believe it was John Lithgow played the Herman Munster, or the Fred Gwynne character. It also had Denise Crosby, who would later become famous in Star Wars, and I actually can't... Something Hughes played Gage in the first one. I think he did a lot of video games and voice acting after. But all right, so there's that, Gage. I looked it up because I was embarrassed last time when I didn't know who it was. All right, now, I guess that's it. Now we're to the big stuff. This is, okay, I actually have no idea what that is. I really like the art. It looks very Sienkiewicz, Bill Sienkiewicz from the New Mutants days. It's obviously not. It's by somebody named Tori. Looks a little Leia Thompson-ish. It's another one I'm completely, utterly, I don't know if that's a crashed car or if that... It says, this art print from our fan art collection titled Keep Your Eyes Open has been hand-signed by Tosi Shannon for the horror box. I don't know if that means that it's original and it's not from a movie, but that's actually really, I don't know who this Tosi, I don't know her name, but I have to tell you, I have a new comic coming out, and I actually think she'd be perfect for the cover, so maybe I will reach out to her. All right, never mind. I digress. I will cease to do business and keep looking. I don't know this one either. I have no idea what this is. I'm going to need help. If you guys know what it is, or I'll look it up on eBay later and figure out what it is. It's not like thinner, and it's not, I don't know what it is. Let's see if it says what it is. This is a fan art collection created exclusively. It has been signed by the artist. Nope, it does not say what it is. Nope, I am completely, utterly stumped. Well, this is absolutely horribly embarrassing. Okay, keep going. This one I know. This one's, that's Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what do I know about that one? Oh, it's, what's his name from Night Court? John Larroquette is the narrator. So if you've ever seen like the commercial for, and it says many years ago, well, that's John Larroquette. And the funniest thing is I saw an interview with him somewhere where he's like, he wasn't paid to do that. He agreed to do that voiceover in exchange for like a joint, a free joint. And then he says he's actually never seen the movie. I'm trying to think who, what else do I know about this? That's all I know. Oh, Ed Gein. He's the guy who's it's based on. So he's a real serial killer, but he was also Buffalo. He's several serial killers in movies are based on him. Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs is based on him. Leatherface is based on him, and Norman Bates' Psycho is based on him. So Ed Gein, I think maybe it's pronounced Ed Gein. He was I think he was in Minnesota. He was a serial killer. This Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the second scariest horror movie of all time. The first, I believe, on the list was The Exorcist. I think that was like they did that during Halloween. All right, now we go. Oh, well, I should just keep stalling because that is also a Texas Chainsaw Massacre autograph. And I have no idea who the autograph is. It says Leatherface, but I bet you it's the stunt man who was Leatherface, which means I probably don't know who he is. That's interesting. It doesn't have a Beckett certified behind it, just the seal. So that's unusual for BAM to have that. Okay, so it's Leatherface. I talked about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Dennis Hopper, I think, is in it, and I think he said it was the worst movie he ever made. Actually, looking at this picture, I actually think this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. But he said it was the worst movie he ever made. But then I remember seeing him at a Comic-Con panel, and they asked him that, and he said, nope, I believe now it is Super Mario Brothers was the worst movie he said he's ever made. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, ironically, for being one of the movies that's the most scary movies, it's actually the least bloody movies. Oh, that's funny. I have this. This is Lou Temple. He works with Rob Zombie a lot. I have a Lou Temple autograph from a previous box. I don't remember Psycho Head. It's the one with the circus, where it's the people in the circus. Oh, I can't even think of his name. Hold on, I gotta think of the movie. It is, this is embarrassing. Oh, it's the one, it's a number. It's a number and a letter. I don't remember, but I know him because he's also in, wait, I have to think about this. Lou Taylor did a previous box with him. And that one, I'm trying to remember, because that one actually had it written on it. And so I'm trying to remember. Okay, if it comes back to me, I will get back to it. It's kind of bothering me. All right, well, all right. I will put that on the side. And that's the first box is empty. So I will move to the second one and think about Lou Temple. I know he's worked with Rob Zombie. I'm pretty sure he's a stuntman as well. While I think about it. All right. I am now opening the second box. And again, there is no BAM paper. Oh, I already see a duplicate. This is from Misery, and that's funny. The last time I did a couple openings, I had like 3 items from Misery. And if you listen to all of these, I don't want to duplicate. So what can I say about Misery that I have not said before? Kathy Bates, I mentioned, I think, that she won. She's the first person to win for a horror movie, first actress to win for it. And I will say Stephen King was so impressed with her performance in this that he actually wrote Dolores Claiborne, the book, with her in mind to play the part, and then she did play the part. And then not the movie The Stand, but the miniseries The Stand, the one that played on TV, they had a character, and his name was Ray Flowers, R-A-Y Flowers, and Kathy Bates said she wanted to do it, so Stephen King turned it to Ray, R-A-E Flowers, and so so that she could play the character. And she's uncredited too, and which is interesting because she was like a big time movie star then, and she did a made for TV movie. It was kind of like a North and South, one of those kind of miniseries movies. And I may be so old, you may not know what I mean by that. And then I'll also point out that Annie Wilkes, the cockadoodie Annie Wilkes, is Stephen King's favorite written character, that he has created. What else do we got here? What can I say about this? I've never heard of this guy before. This is Frankenstein. First of all, it's probably a BAM extra because it looks glowy and silvery. So you've got Frankenstein is one of the first Universal monsters written by Mary Shelley. 1930, I'm trying to think, it's Hunchback and then this. So 1931, I'm going to say. Played by Boris Karloff. The makeup was done by a guy named Jack. Oh, I can't think of his name. I think it's Jack Pierce. And I remember this because there was a Friday the 13th, the series episode with Boris Karloff's makeup kit. And it really was not. It was, in the episode, they're like, somewhere they say, well, Boris Karloff didn't do his own makeup. Jack Pierce did his makeup. Well, the Frankenstein makeup, I know because I wrote about it for an article, is actually copyrighted. And the copyright doesn't expire until 2025 or 2026. Pierce, by the way, if I have the right name, he did the Wolfman and Dracula, the Invisible Man, the Mummy. He did all that makeup. And Universal Studios has it copyrighted. So this started this started really the Universal monsters. I think Frankenstein was second after the Hunchback. They were all filmed in the same place on the Universal lot. So, okay, so that's good for that. I feel a little redeemed. Oh, look, a duplicate already. A duplicate of a duplicate. Does it look the same? Or is it different? How long is the original? Nope, it's exactly the same. There we go. So I am not going to tell you about this because we have two. And I have nothing else to add. I believe that's very interesting if that's what it is, because it takes a static shot and makes it more active. That is definitely the Psycho house. So this is probably an artist rendition of what they believe Psycho is, with Norman as his mother, except the whole gist of Psycho was Norman's mother was just dead in the chair and not a zombie. But I won't cast aspersions. Okay, so what can I tell you about this movie? This movie is Psycho. It's one of the classic Alfred Hitchcock movies. Stars Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates, and it stars Jamie Lee Curtis's mom, Janet Leigh, in the shower scene. She's the one that gets stabbed, and she shot the film for 3 weeks, and I think 2 of those weeks was filming that shower scene in black and white with the chocolate syrup that's famous, with that amazing soundtrack. The guy who created the soundtrack, but my daughter would be proud that I know this. He only used strings in his soundtrack, which reminds me, we talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In that one, they didn't have any instruments. They only used slaughterhouse sounds for that soundtrack. So very unique soundtracks. I mentioned he's based on Ed Gein, the serial killer, which is also Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This, at the time Psycho came out, just for trivia for movie buffs, movies didn't have times like they do now. As a matter of fact, Star Wars was one of the first movies to actually have times. And so before that, you used to just go catch a movie in the middle and then watch it again when it started and see what happened, and it'd have the reels and everything. And so Psycho was the first movie that Alfred Hitchcock made. There was a big sign in all the theaters that said, "You will not be admitted to this movie after it starts," because, it had a big twist at the end. And so what they would do is they'd have announcements that says 20 minutes to the next show, 10 minutes to the next show, and they wouldn't let people in. So this was starting, years and years earlier, the trend that would continue with Star Wars. with the first. I believe it stars, it could be Jaws, but I believe it was Star Wars. Oh, now this one's interesting because this is Danny Trejo, and that is definitely Machete. That's Robert Rodriguez. It had Jessica Alba. It had Michelle Rodriguez. I know Machete is also in the Spy Kids movies, but Robert Rodriguez has been pretty clear that it's actually a different character than the character that's in the two Machete movies. Rather than tell you trivia about this, I think with Robert De Niro was in this movie too. I think I'll tell you a personal story about this. So my first San Diego Comic-Con, I was asked to be, and my finger quotes are up, the celebrity correspondent, and which meant, because I think I had maybe my first or second book out, and so some about film website or something asked me to be there because they knew I was going to be there, and if I would live tweet the event. And I ended up at the premiere of the movie, and what they had done was they rented food trucks, and they had the stars of the movie working the food truck. And I remember it well because that night they all had fun, and then everybody finished the night dancing, and so we all ended up dancing under the stars for the rest of the night, and then we watched the movies on a screen. So that's my personal story related to the movie, and it's really neat because I got to meet Jessica Alba, and that was I met her later when she was Entrepreneur of the Year for Ernst & Young in another life. But that was the first time I had met her, and so my two worlds collided. So there we go. I believe we danced. I think I danced with Jessica Alba that night. How neat is that? Interesting trivia that she mentioned for that movie was she has a no nudity clause in the movie, but if you've seen the movie, you know she doesn't have clothes on in the movie, and they were digitally removed. So talk about CGI. Another duplicate. So this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is Mr. Pointy. I know this. I don't even have to open it because I already have it. Because I really wanted it. And now I have two. I talked about Buffy a lot last time. I will not try to do that again other than to say, let me think of stuff I had not said about Buffy. I got one. We all know Xander, who Nicholas Brendan played Xander. Do you know who was going to originally play Xander? I'll wait. Yep, it was Ryan Reynolds, but he decided he didn't want to be typecast as a high school student, so he decided not to do that. I will also say I learned, maybe from Joss Whedon, that it's actually, it was filmed on the same set when I went out to see it. It was filmed, it's the school that they use. It's called the Torrance High School, and it's the same one from 90210. And I thought it was interesting because I went to visit the set, and I was going to go watch them film Buffy, and my wife wanted to go see them film Gilmore Girls, and it turned out that they were actually the same street. Sunnydale is Stars Hollow for those shows. I'm trying to remember if I need anything else. Here's something unique nobody knows about Buffy. Very few people know. Dolly Parton is an uncredited executive producer of the show. Her production company that she's a partner in helps do it. And then this probably isn't a secret, but the grr at the end is Joss Whedon. I better not say this too many times. This is Candyman. This is art from Candyman. I assume it's from the original Candyman, and I have to assume that because I actually haven't seen the new Candyman. So I saw the Virginia Madsen Candyman with Tony Todd. If you remember, see, there's even bees in this. The thing about Candyman is there was a lot of bees. And I remember the books written by Clive Barker. And Clive Barker had said, because I went to a Hellraiser thing, that Candyman is not a horror movie in his mind. It's a romance. He's more like Phantom of the Opera or things like that. But the guy who played, well, first of all, we all know who played Candyman, and he was really, really good and scary in the role. But at one point, Candyman was going to be Eddie Murphy. And boy, would that have been, that would have just been interesting. It's like, say my name. You know, it might be a little different. So the other thing that I found interesting that I learned, I guess it was an anniversary of Candyman at San Diego or at New York Comic Con, was the guy who played Candyman, who I just said, Tony Todd, who I just said his name, had a clause in his contract that every time he got stung, he got $1,000 bonus. But apparently he was only stung 23 times, so he only got 23,000 extra. And they bred the bees, especially for the movie, so that they were new enough, old enough to look old, but young enough so that their stingers weren't strong. So that's how they were able to do it. All right, more. Oh, here's another one. That's kind of ironic. I'm not sure I would have known this, except for this on the bottom. This is American Psycho. This is because Huey Lewis, because he plays Hip to be Square for that. Interesting about this movie is the biggest expense of the movie was to get the rights for all the songs that are in it. And when the soundtrack came out, Hip to be Square was on the soundtrack, but then they realized that they only got movie rights for it. They didn't get publishing rights. So they had to recall all of the soundtracks, which then created an urban legend that Huey Lewis was so upset with the movie that he asked to be taken off the soundtrack. And it's absolutely positively not true. It all had to do with licensing. I actually almost put it in one of my books because I thought it would have been a footnote about how weird contracts change things and urban legends get formed around them. But I'm trying to think if I can say anything else about American Psycho. Maybe not. That's enough trivia for an art print. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Who knows? There may be a duplicate, and I may talk some more. Okay, this is a complete guess. But I think it's Final Destination. But I'm not, and I say that because of the skull, the way the skull works. I'm going to commit. I'm going to commit and say that it's Final Destination. And if I am wrong and it's not Final Destination, then you can laugh at me for wasting your time about it. So Final Destination had, who was in Final Destination? Is that the one with, I think Ali Larter was in it. She would later be in the Resident Evil series. And she would be in, what's that great? Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. She plays one of the hench people and is awesome in that. I'm trying to think. It's Sean. He was the comic relief. I don't remember his name. I'm saying it like I'm going to ask you. He's in the American Pie series, series set of movies, but I can't remember. Wow, that's really funny that I'm completely blanked on all the cast, so that's the second time I've blanked on this. And I blanked so far that I don't even remember what the first thing I blanked on was. All right, so I'm going to put that aside, but because I could be wrong, but I do think it's Final Destination. I'm trying to remember who else is in this movie. Another actress I like a lot. She was in Space Above and Beyond. She played the lead pilot in that. She's in this movie too. Oh God, I hope it comes back to me. Okay, I think I'm getting old. Oh look, how shocking. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know, part 2. I don't really know if I have anything else to say about it. I guess 2 is the one with Dennis Hopper, because he's in the picture. So this must be the movie he said was the worst movie I ever made. And that's Leatherface, and I think that autograph is different. Maybe not. Nope. Does that mean that I was right that other one is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2? because his signature looks the same. So whoever it is, I now have 2 of him. Whoever played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw. That means I was right, that indeed was from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And so that is, I don't know, really, I mentioned the soundtrack, so there you go. And we got one more in here. And this one, oh, Cujo. So, oh, and it's D. Wallace. Wow, that's a really good autograph. So, I mentioned, that's funny, that Misery is the favorite Stephen King character. D. Wallace is Stephen King's favorite person who portrayed a character for Cujo. Now, let's see, what do I know about Cujo? Cujo is the book that Stephen King wrote about in his on writing, and he said he was having a problem with alcoholism, and he actually did not remember writing Cujo, which is kind of embarrassing. But I guess it didn't hurt because it's a really good, scary movie. I also know that the Saint Bernard, who was the main Saint Bernard in Cujo, died during the filming. Unfortunately, he died of bloat, the dog. They also had several other versions. They had an animatronic dog, and they also had a guy in a dog suit to be all the roles. Stephen King also believes the scene in the car where Cujo jumps across the car is the best jump scare that he has in any of the movies that he had made. Let me think if I can think of anything else about Cujo that I missed. I'm trying to think. Well, what do we know about Dee Wallace? Well, Dee Wallace is also in E.T. She's in The Howling. She did the movie Critters. I think I just saw her in a couple episodes of Grimm because I'm rewatching Grimm. Oh, and you know what else I realized? Cujo is the first Stephen King book/movie to take place in Castle Rock. So you know how that's the connection? This is the first one to actually take place in that. All right, that's all I got about Cujo. I really want to talk more about Final Destination because I really feel like I'm missing something. So Final Destination is Allie Larder. Oh, Kristen Cloak. Her name's Kristen Cloak. She's the one from Space Above and Beyond. And I remember now, the Final Destination, it started as an X-Files episode. It was going to be a script for an X-Files episode, but then they decided to make it a movie. And then it was also not even an original movie. The episode was based on the movie Soul Survivor. And Allie Larder, I mentioned Allie Larder's in it. She's also famous for the famous whipped cream, and she's seen in Varsity Blues and also in Legally Blonde, and as well as Resident Evil. So she's got quite the resume. All right. So of all of these, I actually didn't know 2 things. I didn't know this dragon head thing, which I have no idea what it is. I didn't know, 3 things. I didn't know what this is, this movie, and I did not know what this movie was, but I really, really dig the artist. I'm going to say it again. It's very Sienkiewicz, Bill Sienkiewicz, who did New Mutants for a while. Wow, I really like that. Okay, so that's, I've gushed enough. So that is the 2 boxes for this. I also got 2 geek boxes, which I'll also try to film tonight and open them. I guess I did all right. I hope you learned some things. I'm sure if you want any of this, it will be on eBay. Hey, I may even put it on because you saw I even got duplicates in this box. So if you know what those things are that I missed, please put them in the comments because it's going to bother the hell out of me until I find them. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next boxing. Alrighty, bye.